movies for black girl nerds.
Thank you, gentlemen. It is an honor. Roots changed my life. When I saw it, we had to check it out at the library, at the Inglewood Library, and we could only check out one tape at a time to see each installment of the series. And it just changed my life in this house, and the people in my household. Louis, beginning with you, as I'm sure you've answered many times in your career, this just revolutionized TV and us as Black people seeing ourselves there, and just the depiction of this series. When you look at how it's traveled over time and new audiences have come to enjoy it, is there something you hear in common? Is there a thing that you're most proud of when people question you about Roots and how it just changed a lot of things for Black people on TV and life in general?
Well, the one question that most of the Black people around where you come from, in the library, the whole Crenshaw area, when somebody stopped me in a restaurant, say, how did you feel when they whooped Kunta Kinte? And that's the story. It got me because they were whooping LeVar Burton from SC, and they were whooping Kunta Kinte also. And my best friend, Vic Morrow, apologized before he did the scene. So I didn't know what he was going to do, but he's one of the finest actors, God rest his soul, I've ever met. And when he did that and made him say Toby instead of Kunta Kinte, a transformation hit me as an actor and as a character. It was a combination of both. And I was highly upset. And there was an extra line in that piece. What do you care what that white man call you? Kunta Kinte, that's your name. That's who you always be. And that's the end of it. And I looked at Vic and I said, there's going to be another day. And I said that to him. Do you hear me? There's going to be another day. And me and Vic locked eyes. And Alex Haley, who was on the set, said, cut, print. And he talked about that when he went across the country. That was not his line. It was mine. I know where it came from, but I was totally involved, whether I liked it or not.
That makes me nearly want to tear up listening to that. John, over to you. In addition to the historical significance of the series, of Alex Haley's original book, looking at yourself, Mr. Gossett, and all the people, the marvelous Max and Claire, the people who have who've been in this series, and it just propelled their careers to another level. You continue to have a wonderful career, and we enjoy you in things, but this wasn't the starting point, but it was something that propelled you. When you reflect back on that, what is a way that participation in Roots has changed your life, other than making you consider for other roles? How has it changed your life?
It changed my life to such a degree that I reflect back on my adolescent years and going to two segregated schools in the state of New Jersey and integrating those two schools, where my history lessons were totally devoid of any mention of Africa or anything of a Black nature or an African-American nature, aside from those things that were derogatory, defamatory, or just perpetuated negative stereotypes. So the bottom line was Roots was a vindication for me, because my grandmother and my mother and the elders in my family had told me about our history as it was, as they lived it. And so I knew the truth of my heritage, and to have it refuted in the schools that I was being sent to on a regular basis, it was confusing, not only confusing, but it almost drove me to the point of psychosis. Because here I am one day every day being taught one thing and knowing the reality of my situation. So I was being asked to masquerade as a happy, totally free student, when in fact I knew otherwise. So Roots was a revelation to me on so many levels, because I said, my country, the United States of America, in which I was born, has finally reached a point of maturity where it's ready to look at its past and say, yes, we did this, and some of these things were terrible, and some of these things we are ashamed of, but we are ready to face up to it. Now, today, we are being faced with attempted legislation to refute our history on so many levels that the American Constitution is in dire danger.
Mm.
Dire danger, unless people step up and say, no, you're not going to eliminate that from our history books because that is the truth. And we're not going to write a history filled with fallacious lies and assumptions.
They have to try, but it's not going to survive.
No, it's not going to survive as long as there are people who are strong enough and willing enough to say, no, that's not acceptable. You're not going to eliminate that from our libraries, our books, our movies, or no.
I'm very excited about this next generation of all kinds.
Exactly. So
they know more than we realize.
Yeah. Filmmaker, and he has made it his plight. It made it his duty, his sworn duty to make films that perpetuate the truth, whether it be negative imagery or positive imagery, true imagery in his films. So that's all I can ask for.
Thank you.
Bless you, gentlemen. It is an honor. I thank you for changing my life and allowing so much Black art to run because you guys, forged the path for us first. Thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it.
Very welcome.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you.
Better shake your booties for Black girl nerves. Better shake your booties for Black girl nerves.